What does that sort of performance mean tonight?
Yeah, look, we're very, very proud of it, and the boys had a good week, and as we said, we're trying to get better all the time, and we've been working on different things, and we come in tonight pretty clear about how we wanted to play and what we wanted to achieve, and a lot of those things come off tonight, so we're pretty happy.
Kieran, just a quick one for you. What was the catalyst for you in that sort of performance tonight?
Definitely our defence tonight. They boxed through everything at us. To be honest, that first half felt like it went bloody quick. It was a pretty intense half of footy. To be honest, I didn't know how we were up by however many points. It just felt like it was a tit for tat. We probably got four opportunities and took all four of them. So maybe that was the difference. But our defence really stayed strong. And to not obviously let them in second half was another credit to that. Showed our composure, showed how much we wanted it tonight.
Nige, over here.
Steve, final involvement for Wayne Smith on New Zealand soil. How pleasing personally and collectively is that 0 for Wayne?
Oh, like he's sitting in there happy as a wee sandboy, a smile on his face as wide as the Grand Canyon, he prides himself, when the team does stuff like that, he's happy and he takes it very personally when people score against us. So, but his story's a lot bigger than just tonight. He's been a wonderful servant to New Zealand rugby, and for him to go out tonight the way he's gone, I think is only fitting because he's been a great coach, and he's still got some games to go before he finishes fully. But this is his last one at home, so you guys should write some great stories about him. Great man.
Down the back, Ross.
Ian, there was a bit of talk through the week about the flatness of the back line and things like that. Obviously, there was a fairly good response. But what were you most happy with tonight about those backs?
Well, just the adjustments they made based on what they saw in front of them. Really, it's like we spoke about during the week, is that there's not one thing you do in a game of rugby. You've got to keep adapting in different situations, and so we got better at that. And we still weren't perfect. There was parts of that second half we had a few opportunities and we struggled a little bit, but overall, that we got a lot more right than wrong.
Yep, over here.
Steve, what did you make of Bowden's response in tonight's game?
What response to what?
Obviously last week, and your comments, I guess, last week on how we handled it.
You're talking about his kicking?
Overall, I guess.
Yeah, we'll just go there, son. Don't be frightened. Well, what do you reckon? He went pretty good, didn't he? Yeah, so this week is a week on. So don't forget to write that. Kicked very well. B. Barrett.
And what about
Taranaki.
What about the back three? What did you make of their performance?
Oh, look, they started off a little nervously, but as the game went on, they grew, and I thought Rico was outstanding, and Nehi took the opportunities given to him, and Damien's that busy wee fella at the back, isn't he? And you just don't know what's going to happen when he gets the ball, and he a couple of high balls early, and a high ball and one pass he dropped, but he grabbed his composure, and that's a really good sign, I think, for a young player. He's starting to understand what Test rugby's about and how to cope with all the pressures that come with it.
Steve, with your hypercritical hat on, is there anything that you are disappointed with out of that performance?
Oh, there will be, but tonight's probably not the night to talk about it. We'll have a good look at it on the video. Like when we started, I thought a bit jittery. And it was sort of a lot of drop ball or bobble ball, and once we got into the rhythm of the game, I thought we played probably as good as we've played for a long time.
Steve. Yep, in the front, Steve on the left.
Steve, it's Kanye Sochwako from Sunday Times. Do you feel that the Springboks are far better than what the results suggested tonight?
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And what Kieran just said, the first half, he couldn't believe what the score was, and we took our opportunities. They probably didn't, and our defensive work is probably as good as we've ever had it. So that made a big difference. But I think they're a good side, and the scoreboard probably doesn't reflect the margins between the two teams.
In light of this excellent performance tonight and the fact that the All Blacks were criticised for their performances, do you feel that all the All Blacks seem to have an extra gear when it comes to playing the Springboks?
Oh, I'm not sure we've got an extra gear, but we do have a lot of respect for them. So maybe, if we sit back on Monday, and we'll probably talk about it, but it's about preparing bone deep for Test matches, and we've done that this week, and we've seen a pretty good performance. So I think the South Africans force that out of us because we have a massive amount of respect for them.
Nigel, where you go?
Steve, how would you assess then just the overall performance for the All Blacks on home soil now that you won't be playing any at home?
Probably a B+, A-. We drew a series we should have won. We 3 minutes for the whole series that we were behind. We didn't score enough tries. We didn't play enough rugby. We played pretty good against Australia, and then, we finished good, but they started good. But we showed composure. Like the early part of this tournament, I think our composure has been outstanding. Even against Argentina with a young side that we had on the park, making the 7 changes that we did to just after half time to be down by what we were, we could have crumbled, but they stayed strong and came back and won the game pretty comfortably. So they get a big plus for that. I think the team itself is growing, and the belief in the team's growing, like we saw tonight. Some young players I think of offer in his performance, and he's starting to really look like a Test tight head prop, and he came on defensively and played really well. Not only did he scrum well, but he did the other stuff. And Cody Taylor, who had the opportunity with Dane being injured, grew an arm and a leg, and he comes on now, and it's like we've lost nothing. And you're talking about Dane Coles being the best hooker in the world, but Cody's coming on and doing a similar job, and that gives you a lot of confidence as a team. So
Up the front here.
Ian, Steve spoke a bit about Beauden Barrett's performance. Could you maybe expand on what you made of his display tonight?
Look, we've been pretty happy with his form anyway, but I think the comment I'd say about Bodie is that he does a lot of things on the rugby park, and he kicked out of hand well. He makes a lot of tackles. He clean outs the rucks. He catches high balls when we put him back at 15, and he's never shirking his responsibility about getting his hands on the ball as that first receiver. So he's very busy, and tonight he got a lot of reward from a lot of those touches. So sometimes it happens like that, but he's playing well, and today was probably another little step up.
Mark, where you go?
Steve, I think Rico, you touched on him, but Rico tonight had 12 carries and made 171 metres. What did you like about what you saw from him out there?
To use a phrase from a great All Black and man that's been around a long time, he showed a lot of gas. He's become a crowd favourite. Every time he touches the ball, it's like the whole place lights up, and he's just got that ability to really scoot in the end. He's a big man as well, and he's got some footwork. So he's an exciting young man, and we've just got to make sure we keep growing him. He's not the finished product, but there's plenty to work with. So very happy with him, and Foz is doing a great job with him.
We'll go Ross, and then we'll go up the front.
Steve, could you just give us an injury update if you've got anything going on there?
The only one I know about is I was going to call him Denny, but it's Liam Squires. Denny's his nickname. He got a bit of friendly fire and got a knock to the head. So, but he's pretty good there now. So I think it's pretty minor. So.
Just last question up the front here on the left.
Steve, two-pronged question. You forced the Springboks to make a lot of tackles and missed tackles on the wide channels. Was that part of the weaknesses that you identified in the Springboks? And also the block line that was targeted quite successfully. How much work and thinking went into making sure that the Boks were functional in those two facets?
Well, we've always believed that the rugby game is based on simple principles, winning set-piece ball and going forward and defence. So obviously we really targeted set-piece. We wanted to try and dominate there, and Luke Romano came up with a really good defensive plan, and the boys executed it really well and put them under a bit of pressure. In the scrum, as the game went on and on, we got better and better in the scrum and managed to put them under a bit of pressure there too. So that side of our plan worked. And we're an attacking rugby team regardless of who we're playing. So and as Foz has said, it's about adapting and adjusting to what the opposition is giving us with regard to space. And that's what the game's about: find the space and either run through it, kick it there, or pass it there. So tonight we did that pretty well and got some rewards for it.